Alright, my little boys and girls, shorter video today as this isn't a review of a gun. Actually, it's me covering that people are saying it's bad or broken, which is a fun topic. It's the K3143, or however you want to say that. It's a new recon weapon within Battlefield 5 with its latest content or final content update. So I want to cover that, let you know that this is a point being raised in case some of you guys use the gun and find you can't get it to work properly. We'll cover or suggest what the issues might be, and yes, I have found some stuff I've not seen anyone else mentioned so far. And most importantly, if you've used the gun, please let me know what you think. Go in the comment section right now and give me your opinion. I want to canvass whether people think this gun works or not, or whether it's just bad, broken, maybe one of the few people that thinks it's good. Let me know. Either way, this is without doubt my new personal worst primary weapon in BF5. I absolutely can't stand it. So to begin with, let's get the really basic stuff done for those who don't know anything about the gun. It's a hybrid sight bolt action rifle, meaning you can switch between an iron sight or a scope while you're playing. The scope is a 3x, plus there's a specialization for a high-powered scope, which replaces that 3x with a 6x. It fires at 55 rounds per minute, the same as the Krag Jorgensen, which is on the slower end for bolt actions. This can be increased to 62 rounds per minute with the machine bolt spec, the same as the Krag can also, and it has 6 rounds available per reload, or 7 if you use detachable magazines. So, what are the issues? Well, the thing I first noticed before I got my hands on the gun was people saying they got no hit detection with it sometimes. They would literally watch the bullet hit the target, get blood splatter, and nothing would happen. I've taken this image from Danny on PC, I'm sure he won't mind at all, showing an example of the target clearly being hit but not taking damage. Now, some say the entire gun is bugged, some theorize it's just when the scope is selected rather than the iron sights, and there's the predominant suggestion actually that it's just the high-powered scope that's bugged. Or maybe it's just the game's poor netcode overall. Now, I've used the weapon, as is obvious considering the footage you've been watching, and I couldn't find any hit detection problems personally, so I can't throw my weight behind that. However, we all know how BF5's performance seems to fluctuate wildly from one person to the next. And so this brings me to my next issue, and an issue I do personally struggle with. I can't aim with this thing, and some people have said exactly the same. So this causes me to either miss more shots, obviously, or it makes it harder to tell if the hit detection is working or not. First off, the iron sights. Now, I know not everyone will agree, some people like them, that's cool, but for me, these are garbage. So much of what you're aiming at is obstructed, which is awful when using a weapon that basically requires a headshot or a super fast body shot and a side-on follow-up, when your enemy can easily blast you down with much more forgiving weapons, and you can't change the magnification of it unlike in BF1, so you're stuck with this kind of zoomed-in view with a lot of what you're trying to look at being blocked off. But more importantly, the scope. It's abysmal, at least if you ask me. The triangle point that you need to use for aiming is so counterproductive. You can't see where to place it, it's too thick, so it can obstruct your view of the target, especially if you need to aim above them for longer ranges. You've got 2 super thick horizontal lines either side of it, obstructing your view even more in case someone appears within your scope at that point and you need to readjust your aim. I really hate it. But once you've played with the gun for a bit, you unlock new skins and things, and you can get the Predator sight instead, which doesn't have the awful triangle on it. It's a little more conventional, but still not what we want really, and it's still too thick to aim with consistently in my opinion. It covers what you're aiming at, and the lack of an actual cross makes it more difficult to line your shots up as you don't have those clear guidelines in place anymore. Now, I'm no crack shot with a bolt action anymore, at least not in BF5. I used to snipe a lot in BF1, in Destiny, etc., and sniping is how some of you will have come across me a long time ago. But, and this is especially when playing on console, but not solely on console, bolt actions are a really objectively weak weapon in BF5. It's not that some people can't use them really well, of course they can and they're lethal with them, but statistically they're inferior when compared with other rifles. Anyway, the point is that while I'm not much of a sniper anymore, I even had War Gaming, I said that weird, who's a very good sniper, tell me that while he likes the gun and is doing well with it, he also hates the scope, which should tell you a lot. And I'll link to his channel in the description as well, by the way. But then I had another thought, because my mate Damo was complaining about the bullets perhaps not going where he aimed. And obviously I couldn't tell because I couldn't see what he could see. And this is where I had to go and improvise, as the practice range doesn't have the new guns in it yet. Yeah, no, what the hell's going on, Dice? The main time you want to practice with the gun is when it's new, and they're not in there as usual. So I had to simulate that little bit for the thumbnail to communicate what the video is about, because I couldn't use those targets annoyingly. So what I decided to do was go and try and shoot these little nipple things and stuff like that in a private lobby, and I found that the bullet hole always landed to the right of where I was aiming, and sometimes quite low down compared to where I was aiming, and literally never where I was actually aiming the weapon. And it's even worse when you get up close, but I know that does happen with some other guns as well. But I tested this against the Lee Enfield, and although again it isn't 100% reliable, it seemed to land much more consistently where I was aiming. So then I threw on the K3143 again, and this time I used the Predator scope, and again was quite surprised by how far off the bullet hole actually landed. It's just nowhere near. I compared it with my sidearm on this occasion, and these bullets landed basically where I aim. Okay, I'm adding this in as an edit after recording the rest because I suddenly thought, well, I should go and check how the iron sights line up where the bullet holes land. And so I did, and honestly, although it's not absolutely spot on where I aim, it's far, far closer, which does kind of lead me to believe that the scope has a problem. I don't know, man. It's all really weird. Now, let me say, I'm not suggesting for sure that the gun is absolutely broken. I just wanted to raise it as a possibility. It may be spreads and part of the weapon design, although that seems really unlikely as it's my first shot and this is a single shot weapon, but whatever. Or it may be that the bullet holes don't actually line up with where you're shooting anyway, although it did much more so with the Lee Enfield and my sidearm. I don't know, it could be that it's not a reliable test, whatever. Again, I couldn't actually test it well due to the awful practice range as usual. But basically, whether it's hard to aim with, or has poor hit detection, or doesn't shoot where you aim, or all of them, I don't know. Essentially, if you tie all of this together, you've got a gun which most people who have used it say is really bad, with just a few people saying they like it. And so now you know why people are saying it's bad, in case you want to go and try it and you find that it's bad for you as well. You don't just suddenly go, oh, I can't aim. So please let me know what you think of this gun. Is it good, bad, or broken, and why? And feel free to go and do your own tests and let me know about those in the comment section below as well. Thank you so much for watching. A shorter video today. We should have a much longer in-depth review of a weapon in my next video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like. If you're new, please do subscribe. I put out loads of content, and all the links to my social media, including Patreon, can be found in the description and my pinned comment, where if you do support me on Patreon, you'll get onto the board of awesome you're seeing right here, with all these absolute heroes who already do so, and I love them all deeply and of course often. So yep, if you want to join them, link in the description and my pinned comment. And with that all said, I am GetGoodGuy, and I'll see you next time. Laters. Which, all put together, is what this gun is actually good for. Not at all what you'd logically think it's for when you look at the gun and get a description of it.